okay, well, how long does it take to get this card? And they're like, oh, well, it could be 2 weeks and it could be 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this, like every time it was like, oh, we're never going to get this done.
Yeah.
What I realized there in the Philippines, a signature is very, very important and it has to match.
We're not gonna pull this off. Like every
Yeah.
time.
At that moment, I felt so defeated.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So we are now Mr. and Mrs. Gobranson. So for today's vlog, we're going to tell you everything from the requirements, from where we go to just pull off everything for our wedding. Today. Okay, you can tell something, my love? So today is April 20, 2022. So this, correct. So this is updated Canadian and Filipino wedding requirements here in the Philippines. So to everybody that has a relationship like us, like long distance and everything, keep on watching. So first requirements. No, I'm gonna say the first thing we did to start with our journey to get all the papers is we went to Canadian Embassy in RCBC Tower in Manila. So when my babe arrived here in Manila, I flew in Manila because I'm from Butuan City, and then we tried to stay there for how many days, my love? 2, 3? Yeah. So we stayed there because we thought that we need to go to Canadian Embassy for the papers, the contract marriage thing, the affidavit. And then, so we went there. The good thing is, the Canadian Embassy lady says that due to the pandemic, since it was COVID, new normal, they are allowing the local notary public to authenticate, certify our um, certify the affidavit, this one, the affidavit in lieu of certificate of non-impediment to marriage for my husband, for my fiance. And so we flew back here in Butuan to get this thing. So by the way, all the papers that I'm showing you guys, we will post it in this vlog so you could see everything. Okay, so first we went to the city hall of Butuan because since we are getting married here in this city, in this town, we get all our papers done here. So we went to the city hall and look for the local civil registrar office and talk to the girl that is, what do you call it, palangga, in position of the application of marriage license. So the girl gave us this, the list of requirements to get to have that marriage license application. So we start in a foreign national requirements, my husband. So for the first requirements, it has to have the latest legal capacity to contract marriage, which is the first one that we went to Canadian Embassy, and then we get it to the Bringas law firm here in Butuan. We're going to show you this. in the embassy, Canadian embassy. Yeah. So the expenses of this, aside from the requirements, we were talking about expenses too. So all you guys know how really much it costs. Yeah. So the notary fee is 500 pesos. So the secretary of the law firm gave us 2 copies of this. So we have a copy and then other copy to be submitted in the local civil registrar in the city of Butuan, the city hall. So the second one is the birth certificate of my husband. So before leaving in your origin, you have to get your birth certificate. And by the way, yeah, and by the way, in Canada especially, they have two kind of birth certificate. The normal birth certificate, like a card, and then the long form. So you have to have the long form. Mm-hmm, correct. But we'll talk about that later. Okay, so you have affidavit and then the birth certificate. The third requirements of a foreign national is the CINUMAR, Certificate of No Marriage. Only here in the Philippines exists that, so be aware of that. Okay, so the CINUMAR, you have to get it in the Philippine Statistic Office. Good thing here in Butuan, you can just move around the city because everything is in there. So that's the good part of us that we decided here to marry. Okay, we're going to let you know what we have experienced getting the Cinemar. So, early morning, like about 10 a.m., my love, we went there. We didn't know that you have to have the appointment online. But I'm smart, so as soon as we get there, I already book an appointment, 10:30. And then the guard let us in there. We went to the first lady to ask the basic. I mean, before you went to the payment section, and then that's everyone has to, happen everything. Okay, this is very important to all in a relationship, foreign national and Filipina, and planning to get married. Getting a Senumar is easy. It's easy because it's 210 pesos only. So, before we get this Sinumar of my husband, we have a different story to tell. The requirements of getting the Sinumar. So, the guard in the PSA let us go inside, and by going inside, you have a steps to go through. First, in the basic information, the payment, and the next one is the releasing section. So, in the information, the lady gave us this, which indicate that my husband, should have the alien certificate of registration before they're going to give the Sinumar, the certificate of no marriage. And then here's the story. My love, can you tell us what happened going in that Bureau of Immigration to get this alien certificate registration?
No, I'm trying to think. Like when we first went there,
Yes.
I know there. I remember I was worried because I sent you a picture because I was wearing shorts and where I was worried that they weren't going to let me in with the shorts that I had,
Mm-hmm.
but they did let us in. And because of COVID procedures, is only allowing 2 people in at a time. Um, I don't know. Like when we first, I don't remember. Like when we first
Okay.
went there.
When we first went there, we don't have any idea that we
The
have,
price?
yeah, we have idea that there's a payment, but we
Right.
didn't expect that it's gonna
Right.
be like 10,500 pesos.
In Canadian, like 250
In Canadian, $250. Okay,
for just a for to get a card to show that I'm not
no,
a resident.
to get a receipt, to
Right.
get a receipt, and then you have to show this to the PSA. So we get back there to show the PSA. So this
Yeah,
was,
because that's what I was worried about when we first went there and we were paying this, and then I'm like, okay, well, how long does it take to get this card? And they're like, oh, well, it could be 2 weeks and it could be 2 months,
mhm,
and I'm like, this like every time it was like, oh, we're never gonna get this done,
yeah,
and they're like, no, 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 no. All you need is to show them the receipt that you paid for
mhm.
this card, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
So in the second day, no, in the other day after we went everything, so we get that receipt, we went back to the PSA, and finally they gave us the cinema of my baby, the cinema of my husband. So we are so happy because we got the capacity, the affidavit, the birth certificate of my love, and then the cinomar of my husband. Fourthly, the passport. Guys, it was like, oh, yeah, I have passport. Because, but be careful. The sign of your passport should coincide the sign that you're going to or about to sign in a marriage license application. So in our part, oh my god. My love, you have to tell us the story. Like it's so difficult to us because my babe had a hard time to make that signature
And I didn't
again.
even make that signature. I don't know which signature they wanted me to match afterwards, but they originally wanted me to match the signature on my passport. But like I said, I've had this passport for a couple years and I never ever did sign the inside part of my passport. And it was after my long 30-hour flight where they noticed, like, hey, your passport's not signed. And I was so tired and I don't even know what I was doing. I was just like, bleh, wrote, signed something. And then when I got there, they're like, okay, they're trying to match my passport signature with the signings that I did there, and they're like, oh, these aren't matching. And I'm like thinking, this is so crazy. I've never heard of anyone matching signatures again, or I've never even heard of people having the same signature twice. But what I realized there in the Philippines, a signature is very, very important and it has to match. And that's what I found funny there because they didn't understand how I couldn't sign the same thing twice, and they hand me a piece of blank paper and they're like, "Sign your name, sign your name again, sign your name again," and I signed my name like 10 times, and then they took the paper back and they're pretty much laughing at me because none of my signatures matched.
And then they let us take your mask because they was
Yes,
like
they wanted to match my face with the passport.
passport, and I was like, this face now already shaved. That one there
Yeah,
is like way
yeah,
back, couple of years. So that what happened. And then in that um what do you call it, palangga? At that moment, my babe already like close to surrender. Like we're not gonna pull this off. Like every
yeah. I
time.
At that moment I felt so defeated because I was like, they're wanting me to match my signature with a signature that I was up for 30 hours, and I don't even know how I signed that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. There's no way I can sign that way that I signed right there.
Hmm. So,
And they could see it too, and they did feel pity on us,
mm-hmm,
which made me feel happy.
I know. So it's like it's not easy. Like every time we try to get another step, like going to finally pull off the wedding, the marriage license, every time, even the what do you call it, palangga? Like the last 5 minutes seconds of our wedding, it happened. But I'm going to tell you everything about that later. So we move on. So the fourth requirements of a foreign national is a passport. The fifth one is a divorce paper. So guys, I would like to show you the divorce certificate that my babe bring. So this is
Right.
the divorce certificate. So not only the divorce copy, like the court sending you divorce copy that you receive, you have to get the divorce certificate. Okay, so to those people that are still single, no, what do you call that, palanga? No previous marriage, this part you could just skip.
Yeah.
And
And so like I was gonna say too, like when my divorce went through, I did get mailed a certificate that is not a certificate like that with a stamp, but they mailed me a paper going 30 days from now,
it's a pay
it's done.
letter, yeah,
It's an official paper from the
government,
courthouse where I
yeah, a
went to.
copy.
And through talking to you, like you're like, no, we need a certificate of divorce. And I'm like, I've never even heard of this before. And in order to get that certificate, I had to go to the same place where I applied for my divorce, the same courthouse, and for a $50 fee, they give you that paper.
Hmm. So the sixth is death certificate in case of like in the situation where couples are like widow or widower. So note, for the divorce paper and death certificate, whichever is applicable, if it is written in a foreign language, please attach the English translation from your respective embassy. So in for instance, it was not in English, so you should go to your embassy to make it English translation. So that's the five requirements of a foreign national to get married a Filipina here in the Philippines. Now let's move on to my requirements. Okay, so this is kind not so it's so common for me here. You have to get your birth certificate from the issued by PSA and then a Sinomar like what my babe get, but here, if you're a Filipino, it's so easy. No Bureau of Immigration thing, no alien certificate registration. Just go there, pay the 210 pesos. And then valid ID. Your valid ID has to have your picture and your signature. So a passport is not allowed. The allowed is you made from the Social Security System, the SSS, or I don't know if PhilHealth and PIN is allowed, but as long as there is like it's a valid and it's a ID picture with signature, I think Philippine national ID is allowed. Fourth is a community tax certificate. So this what it looks like. This is the cedula, the community tax. So I never had a cedula, only for my marriage because I need to get this because
So that's just to show you paid your taxes.
yeah, it shows that I pay
You're
taxes.
not behind in taxes.
Yeah, I paid 120 pesos. Yeah, I paid 120 pesos for this in a city hall, so it's easy there. Just go there. Okay, and the next is the barangay certification proof of residency. So the we are little a bit worried about this because the day that we comply everything is Thursday and Friday. Thursday we started, and then because of the Bureau of Immigration, because we have to go there early in the morning, we moved to Friday. And at the end of the day, we should finish everything, or else the 10 days posting is gonna be we're not gonna do it if it moves by Monday or any other day. So what happened is the barangay here where I live gave me the certificate, the proof of residency, but the sign is stamped, like printed scan like that. Then I gave it to the local civil registrar. They're not accepting it. It should be written personally, hand, like manual handwriting. So next is the certificate of family planning of and parenthood. So you go there in a city popcom office where you're going to apply your your marriage license, and then, oh my love, you have to tell them about what happened to get our
Yeah, see, this is the
certificate.
hard part where I don't exactly know what to say properly, but I'm going to say it as neutral as I can. But um, yeah, this is the hard part because we go there and this is a course that we need to take on marriage. It's basically just like a lady counseling us on Mahal, listen to him. Jake, you're previously married before. Don't judge her the way that you like. Don't label her like your ex
Compare,
is.
yeah.
They're just trying to give you the basic marriage info course. But what happened when we get there is they're like, they're going looking on their computer like, okay, well, it looks like the earliest date is pretty much in another week or two,
Yeah.
which is not going to be able to get because once this course is done, then we have to wait 10 days after this paperwork is done, then we can get married. But, you know, the average person coming there to get married, they're not as lucky, I think, as me and have a month off. I think most people have 2 weeks to try pull this off. And if it was that case, they're like, oh, sorry, it's going to be another week. And then you have to wait another 10 days. Nobody's going to have that time. So uh, I'm very grateful. Like, there again, like, like you were so patient and calm. And I'm like inside trying to hold it in, but freaking out. And you're like, is there any, I don't know how you
Special
worded it, like, is there a special course that we
seminar,
could get
yeah.
because my babe will be done and there's not going to be a way to do it?
Mm-hmm.
And they did make a way for it to
Yeah.
be that exact same day.
Mm-hmm. Like
We had to come back
we
at 1 o'clock that same day.
we're supposed to wait till April 4. Like
Yeah,
I'm
fourth or
like,
fifth.
oh my god, my baby is going home on the 13th, on the 14th,
Yes,
and
because we would have had to wait 10 more
10
days
more
past that
days.
date
And we're like,
in order to get married.
and the good thing is when they try to discourage us, to disappoint, like all the disappointment, I tried to be calm and not give up, like, mom, this, is there any other way? Because I don't know if we can, every time that we step, like we get all the papers, there's really a hindrance that, oh no, we can't pull this off. But every time I'm like, babe, no, we're going
No,
to finish this.
you're way more calmer and more
Mm-hmm.
determined. I'm like, it's gonna be next time. There's no
I
way
know.
we can do this.
My babe already think that we're not gonna get this, the wedding, everything, the paper, it's not possible. And even going to the Bureau of Immigration, there's a foreigner there, and he even told us that it's so impossible to pull a wedding on a month,
Hmm.
like less than a month.
Yeah,
And we already like, oh my god. But still we continue doing every paper that we can
yeah.
possibly get.
That's the biggest thing I can encourage anybody, especially like Canadians. Like, be calm,
Mm-hmm.
be relaxed,
Don't
and
discourage.
like I truly do believe all these people in these government official places, they want this to happen for you. They do want it to happen. You just got to be very,
Mm-hmm.
very patient and
And
grateful.
yeah, oh my god, if you have the attitude of being superior, please, if you want to get married like less than 1 month, you have to be calm and be nice, be kind
Yeah,
always.
leave all that attitude at the door before you
Yeah.
get in there because you're under their. They're the ones that have the power to make
Mm-hmm.
this all happen.
And by the way, every step that we take, you're not going to believe this, but every time we went there, we fall in line. Fall in line, waiting, waiting, waiting. That is going to be like all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
So after that, we get our Popcom like certificate of family planning. The next thing that you have to do is get some money and get some official receipt of authorized fees. So they gave you this some kind of like fees that you have to pay. You just go to City of Treasurer's office. So they have this already list of the payment that you have to be paid. So we paid about 2,400 or 2,600 pesos. So in the city hall for like not not included this list. It's not this one. When you pass every paper here, you have to pay them another payment to get the work done. And then after it's all approved, your paper it's all be, cleared out and signed, that's when it starts the 10 days posting. So
And
we
the 10-day posting is for what?
for posting your names there that this Jake Kenneth Sigurdo Branson is going to marry Lovely May Havana, and to whoever against it, or let's say I'm married,
Says you're married. Yeah.
yeah, says I'm married to somebody else, that the you know the other
They could
parties,
come forward and try
yeah,
stop it.
yeah, they can just appeal and
But
whatever.
this posting, that was the funny thing that I found too, because I was really like, when we are gathering these documents, I wanted to save it all for everything, like that we did this. And
Mm-hmm.
then when we went back to the office in Butuan, we're like, oh, like we're looking around that main city hall, like where do we find it? Because I want to get a picture with this thing. And what did they say to you? Like,
That
it's
the posting will send where I grew up, where I am being born, which is in La Paz, Agusan del Sur. So they're mailing the posting, the paper that says notice. So we're gonna show you some pictures later. So
yeah,
the notice that me and my husband is going to marry this day, something like
yeah, but it
that.
wasn't in Butuan.
Yeah, it was
So we were
in.
talking like, oh man, because I really wanted this picture with this paper to show that we
But
got it.
but the lady gave us the copy, so we have a copy and we take photos,
Yeah,
so we can show you
that
later.
was really nice of her.
Mhm. Oh, that's one thing, guys. The lady, like personally, told me that, Mom, if you're not kind, and if I didn't see that you're like almost crying because these papers cannot be done right away, I'm not gonna help you. If you're very like, if I get attitude problem, oh,
Hmm.
this is not
Because
gonna
you could
happen.
see that that's a job where they'd probably
hmm
face a lot of stuff like that.
If that's why I'm telling you, please be kind to those people because
And
they're
patient.
because they are the one
They
going to
are there
help
to
you.
help you. Right.
Oh yeah. Okay. So after that, we receive our posting. So we are at the very end. We receive our posting in April 4th, 5th, no, April 5th, 2022. So our posting came off because we filed our papers in March 25, and then it came out of the City Hall April 5th, 2022. And our wedding is on the 6th. So it's like we get the paper and then we go to a wedding. Okay. So
Okay,
after,
but how did we do that, babe? Like, because I
yeah,
thought there was some, like, we did, I feel like we talked to somebody, like, every time we were talking to somebody, we're trying to get,
ahead.
because I think it was the lady from City Hall goes, oh, please contact this lady because they can help you line up the judge that we needed right away.
Mm-hmm. So the lady that the lady in the local registrar office is the one that helped us find the secretary of a branch to judge here in Hall of Justice here in Butuan. So
Yeah,
that's the
because
thing.
you were saying normally, like, well, you're saying something like normally is there lotto
Yes,
of some sort.
because before we even get all the papers, I already asked the lady in a local registrar office that, ma'am, after this, do you have any recommendation where we can get, a judge that could marry us after the posting, something like that? So she is being so kind. Oh my God, all everything now, like our marriage is really depend to her because
Hmm.
he does like you know being so kind. He even tell me that, oh mom, don't worry because I have someone that you can contact, a secretary of a judge there in a branch too. So I was so happy. So after we pass all the papers, we wait 10 days, right? So in that waiting, we contact the secretary of the judge, and then we went to the Hall of Justice. We meet her there, and then that's when I got
And
the
that's the first place I didn't get into because I wasn't wearing appropriate clothing.
yes. And then so I am the one went upstairs, and then I talked to the lady, and then they asked me the time, the schedule, what time, what date I want. So I want it to be done as much as possible, like all the things that we have to. So I said to her that our marriage license will be out in the 5th, so I want it to be done on the 6th. And she started, okay, but the thing, mom, is the civil wedding here is you have to wait. Like if you are the one, the lucky winner of a lotto, like they put in a lucky box and then they get whose couple is lucky to be wedded every
That
Thursday.
day?
No, every Thursday.
Oh,
So I'm like, oh no. So that's another story. So, and I'm like, so I started, but I didn't panic because I'm like, it's not, just be calm. So I'm like, is there any chance that instead of we wait for the lotto draw, because they say that they're going to draw the couple, if you're lucky, you get wedded in the Thursday, every Thursday, they pull some draw. And then I said, is there any way that we could, like, schedule a judge for our wedding? And I asked how much it would cost, because if it's a draw, there's no fee. But it's like no time for draw. We're not, there's no time for us to wait till we can get a free wedding. So I asked, and then the lady said that it's gonna cost me 2,500. And then so we agreed, and then I picked on the 6th day of April 2022 at 2 p.m. And this is what happened on the day and the time of my wedding. My love, could you tell us? Because I think
well, okay. Well, there's some little parts. Like, it was a race for us to get there, mostly because we paid for someone to do your hair up and get you all done. And it was, he did a fabulous job, but it was like, we're already like 10 minutes, like, we got to get to this bloody hall. And it was nice. Like, the thing I liked about Butuan is that um, the taxi drivers was a big, super big help. And when you get there, every time you catch a cab, make sure you get their phone number and you call them and make sure you tip them well, because tipping them well as a Canadian is not that big of a deal, but it is a big thing for them. And, you know, we had our cab driver there on time. He was waiting for us, took us directly there, and we got we got there pretty much right on time, but the hard part was because your parents. I don't understand why your dad didn't have the. I know he's vaccinated, but he didn't have his card, and it was like total panic mode down there because your mom came in. I don't exactly know what she said to the people, the guards, but I believe she probably said something like, "We're a part of a wedding that's happening now," and they were everyone everyone there. I feel like is trying to help you, and they did it, and we got up there, and you're telling me like the judge was like, "I got other cases to do.
Yeah.
We'll come back later," and it's like, "No, no, 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 please, please,
Oh
please,
my
please,
God,
please."
I said that because it's like seconds. Like, where is your parents? Where is the groom? If you're not gonna be here right this moment, just be wedded later or tomorrow. I'm like, no, 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 no. Judge, please, I'm so sorry, but it's there. They're in downstairs for that vaccination card thing. And then I'm about to cry because I'm the one upstairs with Bernie and Brenda. And then my husband is going down to pick up mom and dad. And I was like, oh my God, like, even the seconds that we are gonna get together, that we're gonna be married, oh my God, it's like everything is a movie. It's like, I think I'm gonna break down. I think I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
And then, and finally, my mom and Jake came. And then I'm like, oh, they're here, Judge. They're here. Thank you so much. And then, oh, the wedding took less than 5 minutes. So fast. I like it so much. Like, highly recommended.
and I got to hug my bride.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, only hugging, no kissing. So when you go home, you just kiss there. Okay? So guys, I know it's not that clear how we present to you all the process, the documents, the cost, but I hope like uh you kind of have a hint that it is the updated requirements
Yes, an
of
idea how this works.
oh my God, like it's very helpful for us to make you like have a idea of what are the
Your
new
requirements.
requirements to
Hmm.
be done here before you can finally marry a Filipina. And by the way, guys, they told me that there is some sort of like source because they know already that I'm eager like to marry my husband. But the thing is, they're saying a pastor could marry you, and then it it could be the marriage license, it could be late because they can sign that one. But I am a person that I don't want like, yeah, we pull a party, we got married, but in those papers it's not counted. Like it's not nice. Like,
Right.
yes, everybody sees that you're married, but in papers, no, that's not. I don't like that. So so far we have a list here. What is happening? I'm loading. My love, you can hear me?
Yeah, I see you just a little choppy.
Oh my God, it's my. Oh, I'm back. Hi. So this is our list. It's only the papers expenses. So I'm gonna go through all of the expenses. So the popcorn, we spend 100 pesos for the certificate. The PSA 210. And oh babe, we forgot to tell them. We went to the PSA twice because
Right.
the spelling of the
My
name.
because yes, that's the sad part because I already knew it a long time ago because I remember when I was getting my long form birth certificate, when I went to pick it up, they're like, "Okay, what is your parents' names?" And I gave my names of my mom and dad, And then they're like, okay, can you spell your mom's name? And I spelt my mom's name. Like, no, that's not right. And I'm like, I know how to spell my mom's name, but in our Canadian vital statistics, my mom's name spelled incorrectly. So that was the big mistake we made when we're doing filling out for my parents on our paperwork in the Philippines. Is I wrote the way my mom's name was spelled, and my long form birth certificate has her name spelled the way vital statistics sees it. So we had to. Luckily, that's another thing we never brought up too. Is that you saved us so much time at that PSA because they had two ladies in the cubicles that were doing the info, but I think only one was doing following the number on the ticket numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like at 180,
Yeah,
and we were like 205 or
60,
something.
260.
And I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna be here forever. And then my babe seen that one lady at the cubicle was not really taking numbers, and you went up, and I'm sure you saved us like 2 hours of waiting.
Yes, because it's like the other people is like waiting for their numbers and still it is in 180 and I'm like, see my lap, we are in the releasing and they're still in the payment section. So
Yeah.
it's
But
like,
it's like only that one lady was doing the number thing.
mm-hmm.
The
So
other one wasn't doing that.
in short, if you are in a line, be smart
Yeah.
and be wise.
Because
So,
if we didn't do that, man,
mhm,
so much time taken away.
so much. So like I should total this, like I'm just gonna tell you everything.
Hmm.
Okay, so the Popcom is 100, the PSA is 2,210 times 2, that's for 20. The Bureau of Immigration, we pay 10,500. The picture, the ID picture that my babe has to have to pass in the Bureau of Immigration, that's 130 pesos. The notary public is 500. The local civil registrar fee is 3,000 pesos. The cedula is 120 pesos. The barangay certificate, it's 80 pesos. The purok certificate. Oh, I forgot to say this. Before getting the barangay certificate, you have to go to your purok president to get the purok certificate. And you have to pay the garbage collection, which I didn't pay since the beginning. So I have to pay 100 pesos. And then the total me, I'm supposed to be paying 1,000 something. But I said, I only have 100 pesos. So they gave me the purok certificate so I could get the barangay certificate. And then we spend photocopy of the receipt and the passport of my babe in the PSA. We spend 18 pesos. And then we pay in Hall of Justice for total of 3,050 pesos. And the rest, the wedding food and everything, we didn't like list
You
it
didn't write
down.
down the 10,500 for
I
mine.
said the Bureau of Immigration 10,500.
Oh, I didn't hear
So
that one.
the
Sorry.
the important thing is I know for sure a foreign national when you are like plan to get married a Filipina, you already have that money saved. But in our case, my babe only saved like we really didn't think that we can be married in the first trip that he's going here. So everything is like in a tight budget and I'm still so happy that everything went well. And that's all I can say. So get married.
Yeah. And now our next video is going to be our next procedure of doing the Canadian side to get the visa to get you here,
Yes.
which is a whole. It's super overwhelming for me, but I'm
Hmm.
glad you're helping me. I was able to sign you on to my
Yeah.
account so you could look at what I'm looking at so we can do it together.
Hmm. Best thing, if you have a partner, you should be helping each other. But in my case, not in terms of money, but I'm helping in terms of whatever I can help to my baby. Because as for
Take the
now,
stresses off me.
uh, because as of now, I am a stay-home wife. Oh, stay-home wife. I'm labeling myself like that. So thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and see you on our next
I hope this
vlog.
helps you guys.
Yeah, bye bye.